Hey sister, this is Dr. Karen Osborne. Listen, I'm going to talk to you for 30 seconds before this episode begins about my next Women Wanting More live event. This is 2.5 days of women just like you being pushed physically, mentally, emotionally, getting really clear on what they want, knowing why it matters, and leave with the tools to actually put that into action and being part of a sisterhood. So if this is something that really, really resonates within your heart, sister, I want you to head over to drkarenosborne.com, click on the Work With Me button, and we can start the application process. I look forward to hearing from you. Here's that episode.
Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So sister, it is your job to share this up. What do I mean by that? Well, think of what you're learning here in the podcast. Maybe you're a brand new listener. If you are, welcome to the Women Wanting More tribe and sisterhood. But if you've been listening for a while and you're digging what you're hearing and you're doing some of the more tips and you're starting to take action, it's your responsibility to teach others what you know. See, I take what happens in my life, things that I also learn from my coach, things that I learn from my kids, from my husband, and I teach them back in this podcast. This is really all of my message. Is there a business behind this too? Absolutely. But it started with this message. And the message was to speak to you, my sister, powerful woman who feels called to something more, who wants more out of her marriage, wants more clearly defined purpose, and to know your place here on the planet, to be more as a mom, to be more in your business and as an entrepreneur, and to be more with your health. And it all started with me really living the experience first and sharing with you what I know. I had an interesting conversation with someone the other day, and they said, I'm thinking of getting into coaching, so I'm just wondering, what certification have you done? And I said, life. What? No, but you gotta have, I'm like, no the fuck I don't. Life. This is not life coaching what I teach. This is life that I teach. There's a difference.
I think I'm getting both of them on the screen.
There's a difference. So what do you need to teach somebody else? What can you share with somebody else within your life? And let me tell you something. If you're learning something new, whether it's the More For that I teach, how to do positive focus, which I learned that from Garrett J. White from Warrior on Fire, the work from Byron Katie, these things that you're learning here in the podcast, the things that you're learning within your own life, the best way for us to learn is to actually teach it back. I'm sure you know this already. If you want to learn something well, you teach it. You teach it, you share it, you talk about it, you explain it. My Women Wanting More live event, which is coming up 12 days from when I record this podcast, so it'll be about a week out by the time that you actually hear it. There's going to be a lot of teaching. And it's not going to come from me. It's going to come from each other. This is really a mastermind process. And what that means is that we all learn and we all teach each other. And so the concepts that I'll be teaching is 12 amazing women that decided to be strong enough to say yes, to invest the time, energy, money, travel away from their family to join us here in beautiful Victoria, BC, Canada. This will be the first of many live events. But one of the things that we'll be doing is when I teach then, I'll be having them teach it back to the sister next to them. Then they'll be going on a walk and talk. They'll be taking a walk and teaching it back. And then sharing what insights have come up, what they've learned from that. Then they're going to share it with the group. There'll be a lot of that. And the reason for that is that, well, number one, there's a lot of insights that come up when you hear it from other people. See, when you share something, you might not think that what you're sharing is relevant to them, but they're going to hear in it what they need to hear it. Get what they need to hear from it, if their eyes are open to hear. Their eyes are open to hear. If their ears are open to hear. If their eyes are open to seeing something different. To seeing how that plays out for them. To seeing how that really relates to them and their life. But number two, the reason we're going to end up doing this is because that's how you learn the best. Is you share it with others. You teach it with others. You talk to others about it. Share it up, sister. Don't come from scarcity. Come from abundance. Come from prosperity. Share up this message. Share up your life with others. Share up with your children as to what you've found to be true. I've started actually doing what I'm calling with my boys power words in the morning. And we just started it. We've done 2 days of it so far. And it's going like okay. They're kind of getting it. But I'm sharing up with my boys, sharing up with my boys what I have learned in my 47 years here on the planet. To me, parenthood isn't just about this is what you should do or not do. Let's be polite. Say please and thank you. Tyson, no, it's not okay to pull down your pants and moon people in the other class. Yes, my almost 6-year-old did that. Kind of funny, actually, but we got to do the non-appropriate buddy. Can't show your bum to other people, even though it still is funny. You know, to me, parenthood is more than that. It's teaching them the things that I've learned in my life. It's like, man, if I can teach my kids that what they say to themselves every single day to start them in a place of power will change the way that they move about in life. Holy fuck. What an incredible gift and opportunity that is for me to share to my boys. To become not just amazing boys, but powerful men. Imagine if from a young age you learn that I'm gonna say these things and believe them about myself. I am amazing. I am powerful. I am strong. I can create anything. The world is better because of me. I love myself. Imagine if you told yourself those messages. And it's all because I want to teach that to my boys. I want them to learn what it took me a long time to learn. Let me fast track it for them. Do the same thing with my clients actually too. Let me teach you what has worked in my marriage and what has helped so many other women that have actually translated those actions and created results and the outcomes they want within their own marriage. So share it up, sister. Teach it back. Share it up. So here's your more tip for today. I'll give you actually 3 things to do. Number 1, share this podcast. There are currently an average of about 1,800, anywhere from about 1,500, 1,200 to 2,600 listens a day on this podcast. Phenomenal. That's a lot of women listening every single day. Some men too. But there's a lot more women that really need to hear this message. So share it up on your Facebook page. Encourage others to actually take a listen. So you can go ahead and share up the podcast number 1. Okay, I'll put links on the show notes for that, but you can just head over to drkarenosborne.com and all the podcast episodes are there. Close to 180 right now, 180 episodes. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I'd like you to share up the Women Wanted More Facebook page. So I create videos every single day. Also, I'm going to take that back. About 3 or 4 a week that I put up on there. Real practical tips, real information, real conversation. Again, sharing up what I learned like I do here on the podcast as well too. And while you're there, go ahead and like the page too if you haven't already. So share that up. And then number 3, I want you to share something that you've learned in your own life with someone else that you think would benefit. Maybe that's something you've discovered with fitness. Maybe it's something with nutrition that works well. Maybe it's something with mindset. What is that you would like to share up? An insight that you've learned. Now here's the deal. There has to be someone who's open to hearing it, right? So, you're listening to this podcast because you subscribed and you click play. So I'm not coming to your house, knocking on the door and saying, oh, by the way, here's today's episode. And I just start talking to you, right? Like, you chose to listen to this. So be mindful when you share things up with other people, especially if it's face-to-face. It's important to ask permission first. So by you clicking subscribe to the podcast, by you clicking play, it's kind of like capturing your permission, isn't it? When you subscribe to the newsletter, you opted in. It was your choice. So be very mindful that before you give feedback or insight or share something up, that you need to ask permission first. So it goes something like this. Hey, Barb, this is really, cool new tool that I learned called positive focus. And I know you've talked to me a lot about wanting to shift things in your life and see things differently. Would it be okay with you if I share you how to do this? I would love to teach that to you. Okay, so that's how a conversation would go when it comes to sharing something, teaching it back with somebody versus shoving it down their throat. Everyone's had, unsolicited advice. I get that often. Let me tell you what I don't like about your podcast. Oh, really? Okay, how about this? Fuck you. I don't really care what you have to say. It doesn't matter to me. So make sure to capture that permission first. Share something. Podcast, the Women Wanting More Facebook page, or something that's relevant to you and your life that you think would really benefit someone else as well too. And in the process, guess what? You not only get the gift of helping that person, but you get to learn how to do it better because you've actually taught it to them. So I want you to head over to drkarenosborne.com. Make sure to subscribe and opt into the newsletter. You're going to see a few areas to do that. And we'll get you hooked up on that today and connect daily. So you're going to get all 3 podcast episodes 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Exciting videos that I put out. Fake book. How about that? Facebook, although it could be fake book for some people. Facebook posts that I feel are ones that'll provide you insight and value. Again, teaching, sharing back to you. And most importantly, you're going to be opted in for the Women Wanting More tribe and sisterhood. So you will hear about all things Women Wanting More, my new book coming out. I have some new online programs for those of you who are wanting to coach with me, but are just not at that place to spend several $1,000s to do that just yet. So this gives you a good place to be able to start. My live events coming up. There'll be some shorter ones as well too. So make sure to head over to drkarenosborne.com, enter in your email and your name, and I will get you subscribed to that today. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.